everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I'm your host, the One Take Man. 10 years ago, more precisely on May 13th, the series finale of Smallville aired, thereby concluding the longest-running sci-fi TV series of all time. It beat out Stargate SG-1 by 2 episodes, in case you're curious. Smallville also won its fair share of awards during its run. It innovated and changed the idea and understanding many people have had of classical, almost archetypal characters, and it proved the viability of live-action superhero TV series that didn't have to rely on too much camp and actually was able to deliver some pretty effective character drama. So, why is it so forgotten then? Why is there not more discourse surrounding it? Oh, don't get me wrong, there is some discourse, but none of it really revolves around, themes, legacy, or any of that stuff. Most of it is where are they now videos, the occasional cast reunion, and the fact that Alison Mack, who played Chloe Sullivan, joined a sex cult. I'll agree that that's weird, but I don't think it is really let's talk about it as if it's the only interesting thing she did while she was in the limelight. Weird. Is there really nothing else to talk about when it comes to this series? I think there is, obviously. That's why I made this video. However, because it lies in such a peculiar position in pop culture, I first want to explore what makes it not necessarily bad, but bland or forgettable. I won't go too deep into too many explanations, but I think the main reason why people have a very meh opinion about it in general is that it is too long. Don't get me wrong, a long-running TV show isn't a bad thing in and of itself. Hell, most TV shows want to have a long run, or rather most writers and producers want a particular series to have a long run. However, in this situation, the show being long-running went against what made it good. And there are 2 points to that. I'll get to the second one later. The first point is that delaying the ending messed up with the actual message of the show. The end point of this series was always going to be Clark Kent becomes Superman, and he spends most of his time as a reporter at the Daily Planet. But then, when a major disaster comes up, he dons a heroic alter ego and goes to address it. The more you push that endpoint away, the more you have to delay it, the more you have to kneecap the development of your main character, as well as probably several other characters. And by doing so, you again and again prove that your main character, who is supposed to be the embodiment of moral as well as physical strength, who has taken it upon himself to become the symbol of the best humanity can be, what they can strive towards, fails to live up to that goal, and that really goes, and in perpetuating this show, you are going against its core message. It quite literally becomes a victim of its own success. So, if it is this, so if being long-running really hurts it to the extent to which I've mentioned it, why is this series not more infamous? How did it still get to, over 200 episodes? Well, the lowest common denominator option or answer is to say that it's that as long as there are pretty people in it and there's some stuff going on, people will still watch it or still have it running in the background. But I want to explore a bit deeper, because I don't think it's just that simple. You could have that from literally any other show. So what made this show in particular stand out to and get to have so long a run. And I think the reason for that is, again, twofold. There are two things that explain its success, and there are two things that explain its downfall. I'll get to the second reason of its downfall, but first I want to explore the two reasons for its success. The first one is concept. Aside from Clark Kent becoming Superman, the other main idea of this series was for it to be a family drama. It was to showcase a difference in upbringing between Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, who acquaint themselves in the first episode and become pretty close friends. That is actually the whole selling point of the series, at least in the beginning. And the show is going to show how their different upbringing and their different backgrounds lead one of them to become a supposed paragon of morality, and the other to become a power-hungry megalomaniac. And indeed, it is this contrast that really fueled a lot of the dramatic tension and the long-term storytelling, at least in the beginning of the series, with Lex trying to wiggle his way out of out from under his blunt and demanding father, whereas Clark very much relies on his parents and the values they impart in him in order for him to become a better man and eventually a hero, and not just in the moral sense, but also in the sense that they help him stay grounded and help him master his abilities. By settling on this concept and building up the show around the villain of the week formula, the writers were able to create a very simple to understand, but surprisingly varied setting, which would allow for a wide variety of stories, even if not all of them are good. We get to see a warm and welcoming family ambience and background with the Kents, a very vivid and engaging cast of side characters, including breakout characters Chloe Sullivan and Lionel Luthor, as well as a compelling and surprisingly diverse setting that would allow for a wide variety of stories to be told over the course of this series. So, and that explains concept. But what about innovation? Well, aside from the narrative innovations I've already mentioned, the second pillar that really made Smallville successful is technical innovation. The fact that by the turn of the millennium, VFX technology had moved on to such a way that you could create snappy, dynamic, and engaging action scenes even on a TV budget. And these action scenes, when they were properly used, in particular, were capable of making the whole narrative seem more engaging, and also hooked in its audience to a much greater extent. And I think it is this aspect of the show, the technical innovation and the action variety that it allowed, that really helped carry the show even after its initial concept became untenable. I will applaud the show for being able to adapt when it did, and therefore adding a few years to its run. However, in this adaptation, the second problem of this show came up, the one that really affected its quality. Namely, the fact that the changes it did make weren't always compatible with what was already established, and in many ways actually actively worked against it. the series was by the end of its run, even discounting some of the negative development some characters got, the elements of this series were working against each other rather than together. So Smallville's downfall was eventually inevitable. The fact that it managed to get to 10 seasons is actually ridiculously impressive. Me personally, I would have pulled the plug much sooner and maybe worked on another series that would be based around the same universe. But then again, that's just what I would do. And also, this is not how I would redo a Smallville video. I am planning on doing that though, but not now. I want to do it in the fall, when the pilot reaches its 20th anniversary. For now, however, I've said my piece about Smallville. Thank you very much for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, then I suggest you go ahead and leave a like. If you have something you'd like to mention, the comment section awaits your input. And if you want to see when the next video comes out, then I suggest you go ahead and subscribe. Maybe also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube asks of you so you get notified. Until next time, I have been the One Take Man.